Welcome back to the World Championship Series here for the Premier League in Group E. Joining me, unless one more time, is Jared and Sam, also known as Bling and Pig. That ID, man. That ID gets me every time. In-touch Masters, WCS, it doesn't matter.
It's the best animal, man.
It is the best animal.
They've got a bad reputation, but yeah, they're cute. They're pink. They got curly tails.
And then Sam's name is Bling Bling.
Yeah, I think it's.
How did you choose that ID, by the way? Let's. I mean, how old were you?
I was 13.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that explains a lot. I mean,
I thought it was super cool. I had one of those, like the fruit machines that are down the arcade in England that everyone goes to when they're younger. You can put like 2p in or whatever.
Yeah.
One was called Blinking. And when I first got into RTS games, I was like, I need an ID, man. Like, what am I going to choose?
And it was Bling.
And I was thinking, what's my favorite arcade game? And I was like, Bling, that's me.
Wow. I like how the favorite arcade game, there's a lot of people that like Pac-Man, Street Fighter.
I know.
And you were just like, no, the Blinking.
I was like 13 years old of like a gambling addiction already. It's like, great.
Have you told that story before?
Yeah.
Oh, you have told that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the first
I don't know if I've told it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've told it.
You told it at home story, so you might not remember.
Maybe so.
Let's check in with the bracket here in Group E. As, of course, we're getting closer and closer to finding out the two players that will play at the season finals. Right now, we're going to choose one of them. One of these players will represent their country. One of them will represent the region and play the season finals in Poland just a couple of weeks away. The other player will get a second chance, though, as he will go down to the decider match to play against Neeb for that second position in Group E. So it's all funs and games here at the WCS, but it's getting pretty serious now. This is a big match.
They're fun games, but they're serious games. They are, and they do get more and more serious. And the winner's match is always the one, right? Who can come out and show they're the best? Who went through the group stage first, knocked everyone aside? Who goes into those season finals not only having to, feeling confident, but showing less games, giving away less of your strategies? And I think both players here want to take it out. And these guys have a bit of history as well. So I'm pretty excited for this match.
You looked up the history a little bit before, Sam.
Yeah, 2-3 in favour of GunGFu. 8-5 in map score, so kind of close. But I'm going to go with what I said before. I feel like GunGFu, and as we can see in the map score, I feel like GunGFu is the favourite.
It's a really interesting point. I really want to see your prediction and then see if it comes true or not, because you have been doing well, but we'll see, because a lot of people are talking about Lilbow, but let's not start there. Let's actually take a look at the German player once again, who's continued to impress season after season. Season 2 comes into Season 3, dominated in Challenger, and is looking good here today as well. And one thing that always stands out when he comes to the studio is he's oozing full of confidence. He loves it in here. He knows he's very good at playing StarCraft, and he shows it too. Yeah,
I feel like both of these players don't let the nerves affect them too much, but GunGFu especially, he's one of the players that I feel like resembles kind of the old Stefano in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like how he just doesn't let anything affect him. He just comes here, he plays his game, and he usually delivers. Obviously, it was a bit of a kind of shaky start in this first series, but I feel like that's definitely he's definitely only going to grow on it, and yeah, he's going to go all the way, I think.
And it's back to familiar territory for him as well. Protoss versus Protoss. It's where he made his kind of name in the WCS to begin with his games against Naniwa, and then leading into the round of 32 last season. He looked great in the matchup.
And this season as well. He played DNS, he won 3-0, and it was a very comfortable 3-0 at that as well. So I feel like his PvP expertise is definitely where he shines, and I think he's very happy going into this deciding match.
Well, the Terran has been eliminated, leaving 3 Protoss players, including him, left in the tournament, or in this group stage, should I say. But let's take a look at his opponent now, who, definitely has what it takes to give a good fight, because this guy is the season finalist. He finished in second place, losing out to Hydra, and he even took 2 maps away from him in the final. But he comes in as, you just look at 2015, just says it all, 9 wins and 2 losses, absolutely remarkable. One of them, of course, being the final that he played in. But this guy is awesome. He's so very good.
Oh, he's in such great form. Of course, similar to GunGFu, it was really last season where he's he's kind of blown up in terms of his performance. He hadn't been in Premier League for a long time, and then he came through the round of 32. He actually did beat Hydra to come first in his group, blazed through from that top 16, barely dropping maps, and he just went so well right through to the finals. So he's been a player who's been on the rise for a long time, and he's just been getting better and better.
Yeah, and likewise to GunGFuBanDa, he just oozes confidence as well. He loves it up there. He wants to go to BlizzCon. He says he's going to BlizzCon to play at the global finals. He's obviously nowhere near that yet, but he thinks he's the best player. He says it over and over, and very similar to how you described GunGFuBanDa, is we've talked about this in the WCS before as well, Sam, is that Lilbow seems to be that new Stefano, is that he doesn't care about anybody. He says he's the best. He thinks he's the best.
He definitely does, but like we say, the nerves don't really affect him too much. In the finals against Hydra, I feel like they did a little bit, and that's when I think the realization came to him that, hey, you know what, I can actually win this. So I think now that he knows that he might be going to BlizzCon, or he might be able to go to BlizzCon, depending on how he does in this season, it might affect him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen hiccups in results recently for Lilbow, but he seemed confident coming in today. But let's take a look at the map vetoes here. We're going to have, of course, 3 maps once again. It's going to be Terraform, which is GunGFuBanDa's pick here, Sam, Coda, and then Cactus Valley if need be.
I think these maps are pretty straight up. Terraform, in my opinion, is going to be the kind of deciding way the series goes. For me, I feel like it's definitely going to favor GunGFu's style though, because I feel like on this map, there's lots and lots of tiny little choke points, and if GunGFu gets into that later stage of the game where the Colossus, it's just basically a Colossus war and a Colossus battle and a war of nutrition, I feel like GunGFu's patience is really going to prevail there. So
you agree there that the longer the game goes, the stronger GunGFuBanDa is going to be in this series?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think you look at Terraform as a pick, this map covered in choke points, and you see it as who's picking this map? It's the guy who wants to go to that late game, right? It's a map with a lot of choke points. He's great in those Colossus wars. I'm not sure if he's actually kind of the guy who goes right to the end game Tempest composition, but I know he's the guy who will often finish a game with 10 Colossus. Like it's a huge high quality maxed out army.
So reversing that talking point, are we expecting Lilbow just to go nuts for this? He's going to be very aggressive, attacking early, mid stages of the game, looking to finish it as fast as possible in that way?
Well, we heard him after the first series that he played that he wasn't too confident or too comfortable going into those later stages of the game. So I feel like knowing how strong GunGFu is in those stages, I feel like, yeah, he's going to be coming out of an aggressive style.
So in Protoss versus Protoss, if you were to put kind of I know there's obviously a lot of variables that come into the early game which can draw out that time mark, but if you were to say, okay, 15-minute past is when GunGFuBanDa is going to be at his best, what time would that be for you, do you think?
I feel like as soon as GunGFu gets up to 3 bases, at a comfortable kind of setting.
So sitting on 3, basically.
Sitting on 3 bases, you know, he's got his Colossus count at a fairly high number. He hasn't taken too much damage, it's fairly even. Then he's definitely in his element. Okay,
all right, time for the favorite part of the show, boys. It's predictions time. Pig, this is going to be an interesting one because both of these are very, very good, but where are you going?
You know, this is one where I'm really torn, but I'm going to go Lilbow 2-1 just because, I don't know, I feel like he's been studying up. I think he's on top of GunGFu's style, so 2-1 for Lilbow. It'll be close, though.
I think 2-0 GunGFu.
Wow, 2-0 GunGFuBanDa. I know he's got a lot of fans here, Sam, but...
And I was just sitting upstairs
with them, I know you were. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time to head to the commentary team for this one. Of course, it's none other than Todd and Claris.
Bold predictions from our newcomer Bling. 2-0 over to GunGFuBanDa, but at the same time, Lilbow here is looking for blood. He is looking to move on to Poland and find himself that spot to keep his hopes alive for BlizzCon. It's very important for him.
Yeah, I really like actually from season to season how like we know where we're going to be going for the round of 16, and like last season it was all about they want to go to Toronto and stuff, and this season it's like they want to go to Poland, really like symbolize the new destination, how we are going to go further into the tournament here with the round of 16 kicking off there. So it's pretty cool. And yeah, Lilbow here, he definitely wants to go further in this tournament. He needs to have a very deep run actually to have a realistic chance of qualifying for BlizzCon, and that's what he's gunning for, surely, as the guy who said many times in the past that he wants to be the best foreigner. That definitely be one of the good ways to prove it, if not the best way to qualify for BlizzCon as the lone non-Korean player there.
Definitely. If he did, it would be the first time, pretty much, in the newest system in the history of WCS. In the past 2 years, we have had top 16 Korean, top 16s Korean. But this year, that man on screen is looking to really upset things at the moment. GunGFuBanDa, on the other hand, is looking for, past glories of what we saw from him in Season 2. It's a little bit more difficult for him to try and attain those heights of BlizzCon. But one thing's for sure is that once he'd started on the really strong road down in the national scene here in Germany, he's really propelled himself forwards in the international scene, in the European scene. And for him to get another good showing here in Season 3 would be fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. The last time we saw a non-Korean player qualify for BlizzCon, it was Naniwa, who back then wasn't even in position, in the 16th position.
Yeah.
He was tied with Revival, had to play, I guess, a tiebreaker match?
Yes, tiebreaker
with
match.
Revival, which he won and then qualified for BlizzCon to lose to Sulky in round 1, which definitely no shame there. But Lilbow, he wants to at least equal that here and try to qualify for BlizzCon. It's going to have to be through advancing here in this group, which I think he definitely has a good shot at. Even if he was to go down here to GunGFuBanDa, he would just have to win one more match against Nib and then he'd be through. But in this case, I'm sure he definitely would prefer just winning this next one here.
Yeah, he would. In PvP, though, as I say, Lilbow, it's not exactly been his strongest suit. And GunGFuBanDa, on the other hand, it is one of his stronger matchups. He does look very, very powerful in this matchup. But Lilbow, he's got a lot of strong practice behind him. I mean, you mentioned before that in the French scene especially, being able to play those, I believe it was underdog tournaments, you go up against the likes of people like Petit Drogo over there constantly, who's trying to rival in that position. And you were mentioning that he was maybe trying to hide some of those PvP builds towards the very end of the most recent one that he was playing.
Yeah, there's a good chance that, everybody leading up to this kind of very important match, when they know that they have to prepare, if they have to play in other tournaments than WCS, nothing even comes close to being remotely as important as WCS. So you're always going to want to try and hide as much as you can. Even in Lilbow's case, in the off chance that playing in French tournaments somehow could be caught by somebody, because it's a French stream, French commentary only. Like the only moment you're going to be watching this is if you're French or French speaking, or if you have an upcoming match against him. So in this case, maybe not wanting to take any risk and basically just making sure that he doesn't reveal too much, because if you're going to be practicing a lot of PvP for WCS and just one day before your WCS matches, you have to play PvP in another tournament, a lesser tournament, nonetheless, obviously you're not going to be using all of that practice and all of your best builds to try and win the tournament.
Yeah, don't want to reveal anything. There are a lot of mind games that go into StarCraft 2, and both of them, having played on the national scene against players that they know all too well, they've kind of felt the wrath of that in the past. Obviously, with GunGFuBanDa having to try and rival the national heroes here a lot, in like Hero Marine, for example. Lilbow has recently been rising through the ranks. GunGFuBanDa certainly set himself in a really, really good spot here in Germany under the tag of Planet Key Dynamics. As, of course, he looked so good in Season 2 as well. Being able to beat the likes of 4GG when he was in Toronto. That was such an impressive result from him. And we are just waiting momentarily here to get into this game whilst everyone smiles and happiness. Because that's what we like here at WCS. Smiles. Smile for me, Todd. Perfect. That's beautiful. All right. Well.
Don't make me laugh, man.
Right.
I'll have to bring up hats.
No.
That's fall apart.
No, that's okay. That's
hey,
okay.
It's a PvP. But
hey,
there could be dark shrines and crazy stuff happening.
I'm always happy about that. Don't worry. It's fun times here. We're loading up onto Terraform for game number 1. Now that you bring up Haas, I'm so sad he didn't make it to the round of 16. But anyway, let's get into things. Let's get into it. It will be game number 1, the winner's match here, to see who moves on to Poland to play in the round of 16. As we get onto Terraform. Down to the bottom right-hand corner, it is our blue Protoss. Representing Planet Key Dynamics, it is GunGFuBanDa. And up to the top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss representing Millennium. Chat, raise your baguettes. It's Lilbow.
That was cool.
Wale? I'll do what I can.
You're practically French, guys, at this point.
I think it was Marine Lord was playing in the round of 32, and I was encouraging chat so much to raise the baguettes.
They're raising their baguettes right now.
Good. I'm glad. It's fantastic.
All right, Lilbow on this map. He's going to be... Oh, I thought for a second he might go for the gate 12. He almost made it, actually, gateway on 12, then realized he's supposed to be on 13, the standard. Let's see if either player here scouts for proxies. GunGFuBanDa in the past, actually, has been one of the players to go for that one gate proxy from time to time, and he's got very good control with it. Actually, yeah, there was a few instances where I remember he went for it and did a lot of damage and then went on to win the game. But somehow neither player is going to be paying respect. SOS needs to teach these guys.
SOS, man. He's a wild one. He is a wild one. And for now, we'll see how both players are going to line things up, because GunGFuBanDa, he is definitely not somebody that you can take lightly in this matchup. He is, I would argue, one of the best PvPers in Europe right now. He is very, very good in this matchup.
Possibly in the world as well. Like, he's insanely good. I know everybody's going to be like, no, it's just a foreigner, he's no Korean, but I think he's really, really good in mirror and just in general. Can adjust in a lot of situations, even if he falls behind. But usually the thing he's very good at is not falling behind, which in PvP can be very, very hard from game to game, because there's, you know, the chance factor, not just in terms of tech, but some small risks that you're going to have to take here and there, no matter what.
And even covering all of his bases like this against a player like Lilbow, who we haven't seen him go for riskier builds before. And GunGFuBanDa is going to pay the respect and just check everywhere before anything like that could even happen. Then send his probe over.
Yeah, a little bit surprised that GunGFuBanDa started the Zealot, but pretty sure it's going to be a cancel here. With the Mothership Core starting, and most likely a Stalker from both sides. Even though Lilbow is not starting anything, looks like he might want to start a Stargate here behind his Mothership Core coming out. I think GunGFuBanDa might have picked up on the fact that nothing was being started here from that gateway. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Stargate. Yep. Even cancels the Stalker here, Lilbow.
Wow.
If somehow GunGFuBanDa was paying attention and saw that, right now he already knows that it's a Stargate. And he's probably going to be really happy to be going into a Twilight Council.
Yeah, so one does wonder if he did spot that. As that probe is going to lurk around on the very edge here. Try and keep an eye on maybe the natural location. Try and dive in, maybe, if there was any openings.
His nickname is GunGFuBanDa. Of course he's got a ninja probe.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. Although, to me, pandas were never really that stealthy. They're kind of fat creatures that...
Yeah, but Kung Fu.
Yeah, oh, Kung Fu. Oh, okay. Well, it gets in, but didn't really see much. No Kung Fu involved in that one.
And double additional gateways here should start momentarily for GunGFuBanDa. He's just going to start one more for now.
Interesting base layout, just like full wall-offs of this back area.
Usually the important thing is to kind of wall off around your robo, because then if DTs come in, you can protect it with just like one force field or something. Yeah. If you don't have the ramp covered. And in this case, no robo started just yet for GunGFuBanDa. I wouldn't be surprised if he started it soon, but then upon realizing that he's up against his targets, he could even cancel that. Yeah, here we go. So this is one of the best, and actually not just one in terms of best build, in terms of best ways to deal with somebody that you think you're better than, is just to play Blink one base straight up. Yeah. And Lilbow, okay, that pylon starting across the map is like the biggest fake and bluff of all time. Lilbow started one pylon down the ramp of GunGFuBanDa. It's funny because GunGFuBanDa even was scared. He moved up the ramp. He's like, wait, is this for real? What? And now he was cancelled. He's like, what?
The probe was found on the other side of the map as well there. So GunGFuBanDa not going to have the easiest time with that pylon, I suspect, but he's just going in here already. Gets himself 3 probe kills and just darts on away.
I think this is pretty good for Lilbow. He keeps his Oracle alive. He's got a Nexus about halfway through done when GunGFuBanDa starts, and he's got a robo to start Immortals against somebody who's only right now on 2 Stalkers. Like, this is just brilliant a situation for Lilbow to be in.
Yeah, it seems so. Pylons are even down towards the bottom that he can warp in with. He forced an overcharge.
He's got Blink now.
Will he get it? Oh, my shot. Oh.
1 hit points.
Very close.
There goes the ninja.
Yeah.
It's not close. A panda.
Definitely not a panda. Pandas can't fly, man. Pandas can't fly. Nope. Gonna have the Immortals coming out now as well.
What animal would an Oracle be? A stork?
Yes. That would be kind of cool. Yeah. You're right.
Immortal production is going to begin here from both players. it's so weird here, the situation to be in for GunGFuBanDa, because he invested a lot into a Blink research, and he's only on 3 Stalkers, which he can't even use, because if he goes across the map, there's going to be at least 1 Immortal here in a second up for Lilbow to defend against this. So both players going to an expansion like this is, of course, going to be inviting a Forge starting on both sides. They're going to be scouting with the hallucinated Oracle here is GunGFuBanDa. He actually warped in a 4 Stalker. I'm not sure if he realizes exactly what he's up against here, GunGFuBanDa, because he hasn't spotted that Nexus just yet. But he might be able to anticipate it. Misses that pylon, actually.
Is Lilbow not just like steps and steps ahead
Yeah.
at the moment? RoboBay,
40
Forge.
probes to 29.
Yeah, this is getting a bit ridiculous, actually. He's
Ridiculous
really,
is the word.
yeah, he's really in a very, very good spot. Drops the Revelation, sees what's going on behind all of that. More Immortals get cranked out. That Observer did see the Forge, one would suspect there, with its trajectory that it's flown in on, and it's going to see the RoboBay about halfway complete.
Yeah, right now, GunGFuBanDa scouted with this hallucination. He's probably thinking, oh gods, oh my gods, I need to make something happen or somehow have a miracle happen because I'm so far behind.
I love your German accent, that was brilliant. As we do have these Phoenix going to fly on in. And once again, get full confirmation as what's going on, but you're totally right. He has to be fearful of this position, because right now Lilbow is leaps and bounds ahead.
Yeah. And as much as in the previous series, from Neeb and Lilbow, like we saw, whoever was behind had to play aggressive. I really feel like right now for GunGFuBanDa, it's a situation where there is no way he can be aggressive and make it work. Lilbow will be able to spot it and defend it very easily. The only way he can come back in this game is if he goes into super turtle mode and wait for Lilbow to make like a bad attack or something.
Yeah. Hardly even needs a hallucination. This Oracle's just been snaking around and trying to keep its eyes and tabs on things.
Snaking around?
Yeah, snaking
Sharking around.
Sharking? I'm not Jeff. But that certainly exists as well. As at least he spots the pylon down towards the bottom here, so probably alleviate himself of that.
Yeah, this is just great here for Lilbow. He's got so much vision. He knows everything that he needs to know. He's ahead on the work accounts. He's got a little bit more army as well. Really starting to create a big gap as well in supply here. If he could get that probe on a 3rd base and even delay it more with the Oracle, that'd be good. But Nexus, he started something else.
He sent a probe that was revelated. Oh, poor guy. Obviously, he knows exactly where that one's going to be heading.
Oh, these Immortals waiting on the Stalkers on the left-hand side. This is... Wow, how did he know?
Not sure, man. I guess maybe they cleaned up the pylon towards the bottom and then they kept
Did he use
going.
Revelation on these Stalkers earlier? Maybe it just expired?
It was this pylon down towards the bottom that he ended up cleaning up, so...
That was pretty cool here, getting 1 Stalker with this.
Yep. Nice trade indeed. And he's going to try and seal off small parts of his natural there with the gateways to make sure it's a little bit harder here for GunGfu to walk into.
And
but
this is why Lilbow is so different than other Protosses. Other Protosses would just be happy to kind of sit back, exploit the fact that they got a 3rd base.
Yeah.
But he realized that he's really far ahead in army supply. He's going to move across the map. And these rocks, sorry, Dustin, brother, but they're not going to be buying too much time here for GunGFuBanDa, because Lilbow's going to break them down, move across the map, and I think try and finish this game here, or at least apply a lot of pressure.
Oh,
in this case, it's 68 army supply to 47 for Lilbow. 3 Immortals against 2, 3 Colossi against 2. Just a great position altogether. Thermal Lance is only halfway through done here for GunGFuBanDa.
he could do something. The Stalkers are actually trying to apply some pressure at the back, but there's the Time Warp. Going to try and catch as many of these units as possible. It's difficult for him to continue on there with that chase, with that pursuit.
Imagine he ejects, or the fact that he has...
Oh, he's pulling off. He's going to go for this. He's going to have to, surely. He's going to lose so many probes back at home otherwise.
Zealot's being warped in there now. Lilbow's already lost quite a few probes, already 14 in total. Somehow GunGFuBanDa salvaging the situation, but he's going to be reduced down to his 2 bases there.
Is he really going to go home after this?
I'm not sure, but GunGFuBanDa has actually got +2 on the way here, so if Lilbow was to go back there,
What prism?
still kind of be in trouble.
If he used it... Oh, no. Okay, there's pylons.
Stalker's still alive.
I don't know.
Lilbow warped in sentries up his ramp.
This is a little bit of a weird position here for Lilbow. Those pylons are actually choking this place up quite nicely, so the Zealots aren't going to be anywhere near as effective. He's even completely walling off with 2 cannons.
There is no photon overcharge, so I love the move here by Lilbow to poke forward, try and kill as many of these probes as he can, because he's lost quite a few here back at home. 29 probes for Lilbow, 41 for GunGFuBanDa here. and Lilbow's just gonna walk on home.
Wow.
I think being on 3 Nexuses here at this point, if he chrono boost out probes, he can climb back up in that count. And since he's gonna be saturated across 3 bases, he's still gonna be okay.
Those Stalkers just proved themselves tenfold. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, they kill
30
so
worker
much.
kills. Could get some sentries as well here. Anything he can get will be fantastic with these Stalkers. They bought him so much time.
Templar Archives now is being added on though for GunGFuBanDa. I think GunGFuBanDa might be going for a 2 base actually. Look at this, he's gonna be up to 4 Colossi here. He's got a 5th one on the way.
You're killing off more probes, Todd. What is this?
These Stalkers are like on steroids, man.
These are God Stalkers. I'm not sure how they're managing to get this much work done, but they are. They're eventually
kills,
gonna
1
get
kill,
cleaned
and
up.
5 kill on these last 3.
Jeez. That was a lot of workers killed. 43 in total.
The Oracle's still alive.
Wait,
Gonna
no.
be spotting that probe
Did
over
he
there. And GunGFuBanDa is now starting to get charged. It's funny. Oh, Lilbow, what's going on with the prism?
Oh.
That was really bad. Okay, so all the probes from the main, or actually a bunch of them here, definitely should be transferred from Lilbow. And he should saturate his gases. Like if he goes into a Templar Archive, he's going to be able to get a whole lot of Archons. But right now, Lilbow's moving across the map,
Okay.
only getting a Twilight Council now. So he never started +2, remember?
Yeah. And +2 has already finished here for GunGFuBanDa.
For a
And now
long
he has the
time.
Colossus advantage. With him buying so much time there, he finally managed to get the Colossus advantage. He doesn't technically have the army advantage, but so much of it is in zealots. And those 5 sentries or so,
Yeah, they are useless in those fights. The only thing they're going to be good at is just sending hallucinations across the map to get a good scout. +2 is going to start for Lilbow at about the same time +3 starts for GunGFuBanDa. So GunGFuBanDa, he's brought himself back in this game with one of the best moves he ever could have gotten for.
yeah, just leave some Stalkers over the other
Yeah.
side and kill off tons of probes whilst your opponent's moving out. And so, I mean, you were saying before, that's why Lilbow is unlike other Protoss, but GunGFuBanDa seems to know that as well,
Yeah.
and just is able to exploit that image.
That was crazy. I can't believe what we just saw there. It's an almost irrecoverable position here for GunGFuBanDa, but somehow he found, I guess, a weakness in the defense of Lilbow there, which in turn he exploited properly to do a lot of damage.
Now, seeing GunGFuBanDa here, just being on lockdown still making quite a few probes himself, as that +3 weapons does rapidly approach here for GunGFuBanDa.
Lilbow is very rich, by the way. He re-chrono boosted out a lot of probes. He's on 60 now against 56. So his economy is great. He's going to be getting +2 at about the same time, +3 finishes for Kung Fu, though, which can be a big deal. Neither player going yet into a second Robo, and we have a Dark Shrine here starting for GunGFuBanDa, so he might be going for some kind of DT drop. Usually when you get Dark Shrine at this point in the game, you're basically saying he's probably only going to have 1 cannon per middle line. If I drop it with DTs and snipe it, DTs can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's definitely true. You've always got a value adding on those cannons later on to deny, but if it is only the one, as you're mentioning, then it can cause some problems if it gets
Gravity
sniped out.
Drive as well.
That's so many gateways here from Lilbow. So many gateways.
Roddy's favorite explosion here.
The gateway explosion. I can't do a...
Actually, that's way too many. Because
It does look like a lot.
yeah, because Lilbow even got a lot around his natural here. That's 13 gates across 3 bases. He might just... This might be a big hint that he wants to do something like an all-in, but he's getting a second Robo as well. So maybe just making sure he can reinforce properly because he's got the economy that he wants to have here in this game.
I guess if he maxes out, and then he is banking up, the more gates you have, the bit easier it is too.
Yeah. This is very worrying. This War Prism setting up at the top here for GunGFuBanDa because he's not really attackable here through that choke. I don't think that Lilbow can attack through there. Actually, these lasers here from both sides, they need to be careful as they both start the gold at about the same time. This War Prism at the top will be dropping in the main of Lilbow, sniping that, or in this case, these cannons, because there is a second one on the way very, very quickly, and then from there is not going to be any detection nearby. So what usually happens is that if you have an observer with your army, you recall there, and that's the case right now for Lilbow, but then he's going to be exposed to attacks on his 3rd or 4th base.
Both players taking the gold at the same time. Thankfully for Lilbow, he is in position to instantaneously deny that one. But here comes the Warp Prism up to the top left-hand side.
He's going to have to recall, I think.
By the looks of it, it looks fast. Did he get Dramatic Drive? He must
GunGfu
have,
doesn't drop on top of these cannons.
Yeah, just going to go straight for
Lilbow really caught a break. He's recalls anyway.
Oh, he did get Dramatic Drive.
But then, right now, GunGfu should be attacking that gold base or any kind of force or even 3rd base here from Lilbow, but he's not moving out.
Didn't quite exploit the fact that he'd drawn his opponent's army all the way away.
Warding off cannons in a game this high level is very important because DTs are always going to come into play. So Lilbow around his third base, he did a good job of warding off one of those cannons. And same thing for GunGFuBanDa. In his third base, he has one that's walled off between two gateways.
All right, and once again, the Warp Prism will come back in here. Before those cannons are finished, would be nice if he was able to go straight onto those, but he's just going to drop these Zealots wherever he can. There's even a Colossus that's just popped out, and it will take a little while to
Going in
get
from
out
two sides.
Whoop, be careful.
He's going to force a recall here very quickly is Lilbow.
Yeah, there is that Mothership Core there with it, so he should be fine to get away. He's going to try and divide and conquer here for a most part. He actually killed the Mothership Core off of his opponents.
GunGFuBanDa actually won a fight.
There wasn't any reinforcement with those Colossi up to the top left-hand corner, so the +3 weapons here for GunGFuBanDa, he just turns around, goes back into this fight, and will the Zealots be able to make the difference? They might be able to from the right-hand side here, but at the same time, Zealots managed to get underneath the Colossi here of Lilbow. He's lost a lot of his Colossi, though.
GunGFuBanDa had 10 Colossi against, I think he was 7 or 8, and quite a few more Archons as well, so he identified it very quickly. Usually when you're like this on the map, it's very hard for you to reinforce nearby, so you don't want to go into a fight, especially if you're being surrounded, but somehow GunGFuBanDa, he identified he was going to be able to win this fight or do well in it, so he stayed out there. But right now he's hiding because he's all out of Time Warp or Recall.
Oh my. And Dark Templar to counter and deny those that drop were warped in, so he was able to...
might be overextending here. Remember, he has no Time Warp or Recall there. If he gets caught from two sides, he's going to lose a lot.
Technically, his army is fantastic. He's got 100 army supply against 77 at the moment, and obviously Lilbow's just wanting to warp in from the massive amount of gateways that he's got, but it does take a little while.
53 probes for Lilbow, 58 for GunGFuBanDa, who's going to drop a DT in the natural there, but there was an observer. You see, he's committing everything he has here. It's almost as if he thinks he has to all in.
Yeah, he continues to move all of his army towards this location as well, just reinforcing with that hidden pylon. And he's going to send all of his probes up towards the top here in this first-person view of GunGFuBanDa. So we'll just try and drop pylons forwards. He's taking this engagement there. He wasn't looking at it at that point, so maybe Lilbow was trying to kind of catch him off guard for the most part.
He's spread up pretty well, though. He's going to chase back Lilbow, who overextended once again.
He's
getting chased by Archons, Zealots, and even a DT.
His army was huge. It was really, really big, and now he takes a significant army supply once again.
Oh, Lilbow thinks there is no Dark Templar, no Observer, so he sends his Dark Templar since he's down to his last few units.
This is going to be very, very difficult here for Lilbow to deal with. GG, game number 1 goes to GunGFuBanDa. And that is why you've got to respect him in this matchup. He can play it out very, very strongly. And taking the first game off Lilbow here, it's a pretty good result so far.
A very good job by the German player there. I thought it might be a mistake to move out like this. A lot of the time it is. And I mean, I know people joke or even that it's the truth that I never attack, but at the same time, like a lot of the time when you go for this kind of attack and you are on similar armies, it's going to be so easy for the opponent to set up a proper concave or even a flank, coming from behind. The thing is, in this case, Lilbow somehow didn't have enough, and having all of his army together was actually much better somehow for GunGFuBanDa. He had all of his Archons really tanking a lot for his Colossi to do the work, and in the end, he got rid of a lot of the mid-shield of Lilbow instantly. And he had quite a few more Colossi and Immortals as well, so he did very well. He was up to 10 Colossi, which is usually like the ideal number when you're going like full ground against full ground. You want to have 10, no less, no more.
All right, well, we're going to go to a short break here, guys. When we are back, it is going to be GunGFuBanDa versus Lilbow, game number 2 for the World Championship Series. back to the World Championship Series. This is the final moments of game number 1 here. Show that GunGFuBanDa breathed a sigh of relief and is able to take that first victory. Not exactly the position that Lilbow wants to be in. Of course, he won a game down when he's trying to aim for the fantastic heights of BlizzCon. But one thing's for sure is that definitely not down and out just yet.
Yeah. Even if he was to lose this match, just has to win another one. And GunGFuBanDa is pretty darn good in PvP, I have to say.
Yes.
We already knew that, but he's really showing it here once again. Definitely didn't fall out of shape somehow in the matchup.
Game number 2 will be on Coda, Todd. What do you make of this map in PvP? We've already seen it, I mean, in the past PvPs that we've had so far.
Yeah, it seems like not like a high variance map. It's going to be easier to scout than on most maps, not just for proxies, but even, you know, flying your mothership core across the map and somehow getting it in your opponent's base and then recalling is going to be easier than on most maps. So it's a pretty good map to play on if you think that you're better than your opponent, and everybody thinks that they are better than their opponent in PvP anyway.
Well, let's get into things then. Game number 2. Lilbow has the weight of France on his shoulders, as France so far having looked fantastic over 2015. Lilbow does not want to let them down, as we have spawned down to the bottom right-hand corner, representing Germany and Planet Key Dynamics. It is GunGFuBanDa. And up to the top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss, representing France and Team Millennium. It is Lilbow.
He's going to have to do better here than in map number 1. Wasn't doing too bad, to be honest, up until that big engagement he took. I think he was overconfident, and it's funny because even looking at the game as a spectator, I even thought he was going to be able to kind of make this army recall. You usually don't see anybody that's on 3 base like this against 3 base set up in this position unless they want to recall as soon as they get in trouble, especially when there is a War Prism in the main. Usually the only reason for moving out like this is because you got a War Prism elsewhere doing damage and you're trying to pull your opponent out of position. But in this case, Lilbow with a pretty quick gateway here. I think it was gate 12.
Yeah, looks
like it's the standard gateway 13 here by GunGFuBanDa. So maybe something special in the plans, something like a fast target, proxied or not, definitely could be possible. Or like some kind of rush of some sort.
All right, well, we'll be keeping eyes out for that, as Lilbow here could turn up the speed very, very quickly. And then on the other side here, GunGFuBanDa wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if he continued on with his macro game plans, because he just looks so formidable with it. He really doesn't miss a beat. I mean, even in that game in number 1 that we saw there for GunGFuBanDa,
Yeah.
like even just having the stalkers across the map, which for a long time in PvP used to be just the go-to. Once you open a blink, you use that to contain your opponent, but Lilbow just didn't seem to have any care for it, and he paid the price in the end.
It's funny actually, because like if GunGFuBanDa had kept his stalkers back at home or even like tried to do some harassment and lost them in the end, it's the wrong move, yet everybody does that usually. Nobody tries to keep their stalkers across the map to wait for the opponent to maybe move out and then counter-attack with it. So it was just a brilliant move, and that's really what won in the game as well.
Yeah, it really worked wonders there. And now, his probes are going to bump
Fast
into one another.
targets
Oh,
by Lilbow. He starts a stalker, which is chrono boosting. Because I think he was going to get the Stargate, but then he met the probe in the middle of the map, so he's like, I need to deny scout, I need to deny scout. He cannot see that I'm going fast target. So he's chrono boosting out a stalker, which will be spotted. GunGFuBanDa really might pick up on the fact that there is no mothership core, and there is quite a bit of chrono boost on the Nexus. That's a big tell of what's happening there.
yeah, this is a bit of a scary spot here from him completely, being able to anticipate that. And he's going to play against the image by the looks of things, to earn the Twilight Council path.
In this case, GunGFuBanDa, his spider sense here is already tickling, because he scouted and he saw that something weird was happening. So there is a chance he might put in, like he might go the extra mile or extra effort to go and send something across the map, even if it's just a stalker or mothership core, to try and get some extra info. In this case, he goes for his own Stargate.
I wonder if he goes into a Phoenix from here and just try to kind of blind counter him. Stalker's going to be moving across. Not really much that can get in terms of information.
Yeah. One thing about Lilbow is that usually when he opens Blink, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Blink, a lot of the time he's not going to do it like other Protosses and take an expansion and play it slowly. He's going to all in almost every single time. With 3 gateways, he's going to keep on warping stalkers and really play aggressive, even against the Nexus and Robo, which a lot of the time is going to be very hard to bust. Look at this. Another gateway starts. And Lilbow, if he starts cutting probe very soon here, it's going to be a big tail that he wants to hold in. He's even already proxying pylons across the map. And he entirely skipped on that mothership core, by the way, which is a massive gamble.
That is. You're right about that. And the pylon up towards the top here is going to try and be thrown down as well here by GunGFuBanDa. And he has an Oracle about to pop. If the Stalkers for Lilbow move out for some reason too fast, then that could be a disaster. But they are going to stick in the mineral lines for now.
Yeah, Lilbow. He's not getting any more probes. He's going to drop down the 4th gateway. He's going for it.
All right.
GunGFuBanDa's got a probe across the map. He sees no Nexus starting here for Lilbow. He saw no Oracle flying. He's starting to rule out all the possibilities.
What happens? I mean, this Oracle, if it does just go in at the right time, then this could be insane. He doesn't have a mothership core. He doesn't have photon overcharge. If the Stalkers move out and the Oracle goes in...
It's funny how things can turn out sometimes. The thing is, though, GunGFuBanDa, having invested into a Stargate, into an Oracle, he's not going to have much on the ground. He needs Immortals, ideally, to defend against Blink Stalkers. Lilbow, though, it kind of looks as he knows that there is the possibility there could be an Oracle, so he's kind of waiting for it to come his way so he can snipe it and then counterattack.
Yeah.
Which in this case, the probe.
Is GunGFu worried about Dark Templars? Because he's kept the Oracle at home. He's blocking all the ramp here with Stalkers.
No, he's starting right now to... He's getting an Observer, so he knows that this Oracle can go across the map and try and do the damage itself. Lilbow, he's taking a massive risk. Look at this. No Robo, and he's only getting Stalkers with the few amount of probes that he has got. He's putting a probe on the map. I think he knows that he might get scouted in a second by something, so he wants to fake that he's going to start a Nexus. And he might even spot the Oracle with this. Did he see it?
I don't think so. I think it was on the edge of the vision, so I don't think
he's been online.
And this is going to fly in straight away.
That's an 87 energy Oracle.
Oh my god, and it comes in at the perfect time as well. The Stalkers are blinking across the map frantically because Lilbow knows that he has to do something with this. He used Blink in the middle of the map. All the probes are evacuating out, and now GunGFuBanDa must know what is going on because what else could be? This is... That's so many Stalkers.
All he has to do is defend. Photon Overcharge is going to be used here in a second. There is a Guardian Shield available for GunGFuBanDa. The Immortal is going to get jumped on top of.
Aggressively blinked onto, brings it down instantaneously. There's really not that many units here for GunGFuBanDa in the mineral lines at the moment, but that Photon Overcharge is doing a lot of guaranteed damage here to these Stalkers, trying to keep them alive for as long as possible. Another Immortal is being Chrono boosted out here. And this is going to be it. This is going to be it. He has nothing left. I mean, this Immortal will be able to push these back. He did so much economic damage. The Oracle is sat above the Nexus. It doesn't even care. Oh my god. 8 workers to 24. He has no more Stalkers to make. And with the second Immortal on the way...
Yeah, and second Photon Overcharge available as well. It's not like he killed the Mothership Core and could go in there as Photon Overcharge ends.
Oh, GunGFuBanDa is on the way to Poland if he's able to hold off this one attack. 2 sentries move forwards. They're trying to pin off the Immortal against this. But even if they do, only 5 Stalkers worth of pressure. Second Immortal pops. Lilbow is done. GG. GunGFuBanDa makes it to Poland in first place here in Group E.
Very good job by him. A good read, and in the end, it's funny how they both were kind of hoping for something. They took their time. The Oracle stayed for a long time at home, and I would say definitely a very lucky timing, though, by GunGFuBanDa to eventually... Like, if he had flown that Oracle inside of Lilbow's base 20 seconds earlier, there is like 10 Stalkers waiting for you, waiting to blink, snipe it, and then counterattack across the map. And it can become a different game. Then Lilbow can go into something like a lockdown. Behind this, he can go into his own Nexus if he restarts pro production. So just a good read altogether, and a little bit of fortune as well, which always helps in PvP.
Yeah, gonna have some of that fortune. Good stuff, and congratulations to him for moving on to Poland in the round of 16. The first player here from our groups in Europe to make it. That being said, of course, Lilbow not down and out just yet. He will be waiting in the very, very last game here for today to figure out if he's going to be able to advance on against Neeb. So we get more PvP goodness here, Todd. I know you love PvP.
I love it, man. Yeah. This is what I live for.
Yeah? I know. You're in your element when we're casting
It's your
PvP.
favorite matchup, don't pretend.
I do enjoy it. I enjoy casting it with you very much so. It is great fun. It is good fun. And seeing all the intricacies come out, how they do through these games, certainly a lot of fun indeed. Lilbow will fight on in a moment here, but for now, we're going to go over to the analysis desk to find out what Mr. GunGFuBanDa thinks of advancing on to Poland.
Thank you very much, Colaris, and congratulations, GunGFuBanDa. Another season, another advancement to the season finals. Were you expecting this coming in today? Were you looking at this as a top 2 definite? Were you looking at this as a first place type of group?
I think top 2 definitely, but I'm not sure if I get at first or at second out. So I'm quite happy that I made it.
Yeah, congratulations. An awesome win in the winners match there. And Sam called it 2-0. He called it. I don't know if you heard it while you're up there, but you called it 2-0. You 100%, man. You just killed it.
I know. I've been calling it all day as well, though. To be fair, I have been saying all day the favourite, in my opinion, is GunGFu, and rightly so. He definitely showed why he was.
Just the same last season, then. Every time. Coming to here, I mean, this must be a great feeling to come to the studio here in Cologne, to have people supporting you and having that kind of support. Does it mean a lot to you, these guys cheering for you, people coming here? I know you're with a lot of people upstairs as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of support, and it just makes less stress for me, and just I feel better, and that I win.
Does it not make you feel that you need to perform? You said it makes you feel better?
Yeah,
a lot of people would look at it in a different way sometimes.
There's always a little bit of pressure, but when you're in the game, you don't think about outside, you just focus, and I think that's the most important.
And then you take the headset off and GunGFuBanDa every time. We wanted to take a quick look at a couple of these games, map 1 and map number 2. We're going to go into map number 1 first, and we wanted to get your thoughts about the Blink Stalkers jumping around here. So we've got this loaded up for you. Can you just talk us through what was going through your mind using these Stalkers?
I just, from the beginning, I was so far behind because, I didn't scout his expansion, so late, and he had a huge advantage, in my opinion. And at this point, my army is much smaller, so I had to do something. I knew that I had to give up the third, but, I killed so much workers, and that really won me at this point, I think.
So ultimately, because you did so much damage, what do you feel like the best decision for Lilbow would have been? Obviously, he did come back eventually to defend it, but do you feel like if he pushed into your natural, maybe he could have won?
Yeah, maybe, but on this choke point and photon overcharge and so on, I don't know, he had a huge army, he could try it, but it's very difficult to say, it depends on the positioning. And also, I don't understand why he didn't warped in Blink Stalkers or Stalkers he did on warped in Zealots, but they can't fight Blink Stalkers. So I'm not sure.
And sorry, Sam, continue. Sorry.
I was just going to say, so after all of this happened, and obviously you know that he's on 3 bases, did you still feel like you was in a good position, a bad position?
After this, even I killed more, warped in more Stalkers to kill more workers. Even if he has 3 bases, doesn't matter if he has no workers. So I just built up my army, get my upgrades, and I also saw that he every game almost he doesn't go for +2 or stick so long for +1. So I had an advantage.
43 workers killed through those pack of Stalkers. We can get ready to move on to map number 2. And
sure.
This is this moment here was a moment, Kalaris and Todd were saying about it, is that the Oracle choice here. You waited, it came around, he moved out, the stars aligned for you at this moment, and you can see it here replaying. When you moved in here, no mothership core, Stalkers, talk to me.
First of all, when I scouted him first, I thought this is a DT opening. That's why I kept my Oracle at home. I played with this or not this, but it looks for me with DTs because Showtime played it with me. So I was so scary of this. And then the fast DTs, so I kept all the time my Oracle at home. And he didn't had no scout at all, so he just went YOLO and
then when you realized what was going on, there's probably a bit of a smile inside, realizing that you were going to Poland.
Even dancing, I don't care, man.
Well, congratulations, 2 fantastic games here today, and you've made it through to the season finals again. You're going to be representing Germany again at the season finals. What are your expectations this season? You seem to be continuing to perform season to season. What is it this time?
My goal is to go to the quarterfinals this time. Like last season, I had a really tough group, but at least I was not last in the group, so I hope that I can get this time to the quarterfinals at least.
Okay, thank you very much, GunGFuBanDa. Our first place finisher from Group E. And like I said, we'll be representing Germany at the season finals. We'll see you in Poland. Congratulations once again. It's now time to go to the decider match. Only one spot remains in Group E. Which player is taking it? Lilbow takes on Neeb.